to do. It is a vintage budget Porsche, so I picked this thing up for nothing. It's a free Porsche. But the caveat is, this has been sitting in a barn in Wisconsin for the past 5 years. It needs a lot of work. Cosmetically, a lot of faded paint, a lot of trim and things like that broken. The car was actually from Craigslist before that, so it was from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Before that, I think it was in Minnesota. But it should be a fun project. There's a ton of these out there on the YouTubes where people are restoring these and doing projects with these, so I think it'd be a really fun project to work on.
What is the historical significance of this particular car?
Well, one, it's a Porsche. I think that's a historical.
But more importantly.
It is from, so it's from 16 Candles,
yes,
which was a movie filmed, it was from the 80s. I'll double check that, if not.
It's a John Hughes movie from the 80s with Molly Ringwald.
Yes.
And it was filmed in Chicago.
Glencoe.
Yeah.
So the
Chicago
North Shore,
area.
Yep,
yeah.
So Chicago area. And we are in the Chicagoland area. So it's a pretty cool symbolic movie car.
Yeah. So when it's all done, you can take it over to the church at Glencoe.
And recreate
the scene from 16 Candles.
Yes. That is the goal.
Yes.
So, but this one, so it's a Guards Red Porsche, which is pretty standard Porsche color, with a tan interior. I believe they call this camel or beige.
Why don't you open the door so we can see?
It is a 5-speed, which is pretty fun. And these guys came with inline 4, 2.5 liter naturally aspirated motors. I don't know the horsepower on these. It's not a ton, but it's still a pretty fun project. So,
well, let's open her up.
Okay. It's surprisingly clean for its age, and we did a little bit of cleaning on it already. It still has lots of leaves and nuts from sitting in the barn, but we did wash it off because it was quite dirty before that. So here's your inline 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 spark plugs, 4 cylinders, naturally aspirated throttle body with your intake there.
Okay.
So that's that. And these, like I said, tan interior, tan and black. This thing is pretty original other than the radio. It has a pretty cool late 90s radio on it. And then you can see there's, pieces that need love. Like the seat bolsters are worn, it's got some tears, the carpets are pretty dirty. It does smell pretty funky, so we'll have to fix that. I hear it does have some water leaks as well, so we'll have to fix that as well. It does have the typical 944 problem where the back glass delaminates, and you can see, right? So we'll have to fix that. Prior owner fixed it with some electrical tape. And honestly, it's been working, but it's a known problem for these cars. And there's, like I said, there's a ton of videos online on how to fix that. It's and that's got the hatch with the glass. And there's some trim pieces, but not a ton to see back here. But that's pretty much it, and then it's got a spare. It has been sitting outside quite a bit. You can see the carpets are very, very faded on it. This is, if you pull this back, you can actually see the original colors. So this is almost like white, right? You can see how it's been bleached, but that's the original colors, that tan down there.
All right, why don't you tell us go over your whiteboard.
All right, so started our list of things to work on. Like I said, no shortage of things to work on. Red is critical, blue is cosmetic, and then black I color coded as upgrades. So we know it has a battery draw or a parasitic draw. I got to figure out where that's coming from. That's going to be an electrical issue. I want to run through the fuses. It has a lot of mismatched fuses. It does need front and rear brakes. Engine mounts, our project will do coming up shortly. That actually is on order already, so that'll be here in a couple days. I want to smoke test vacuum lines and exhaust just to make sure it doesn't have any leaks. It runs rough, and I'm not sure if that's the engine mounts or if that's the actual, if it has a vacuum line leak or some other mechanical issue going on, but we'll dive into that. It does have a pretty substantial oil leak we got to figure out. Power steering leak. It does not have power steering at all right now. There was a lot of power steering all over the bottom of the motor when I picked it up, so I would assume we'll find some type of leak there. Polish. I think from the video you guys can see it needs a polish. It doesn't have much clear coat left on it. The door window slides need greasing. They're just kind of rough. Interior clean, interior trim fix. There's a lot of trim that's just kind of distorted. There was an old subwoofer in the trunk that they used 2x4s to go and put into the back. So we'll have to take those out. Those are put in with construction adhesive. So I call that like old school panel bond, but it's not going to be fun to take out. So it's got a bunch of 2x4s along with construction adhesive. The rear trunk key gasket, it just broke off. That'll have to be fixed. It does not have a rear wiper. The fifth stoplight, which is the stoplight on the top, does not work. It does need new tires. These tires are date coded 2008, too old, so we'll have to get those. And then we'll get to the upgraded part in a second here. Suspension, just want to go through it. The brake lines are they're the non-solid, so I think the rubber is what they were from Porsche. They actually make solid like metal lines that are much better now. We'll see. Again, that's under the upgrades category. Do not know if it has windshield wipers or washers. I don't know if it has cruise control. It's there, just not sure if it works. Headlight bezels are missing. It has a bunch of burned out lights. The driver door switch doesn't work. The passenger mirror falls down. The odometer is interesting. So the odometer, it has an exempt title, which is not great. So the odometer has been broken for a while. It was a known issue on these. Again, there's a ton of YouTubes out there showing how to fix them. It's not hard, but this one says 65,000 original miles. I'm not sure how long that odometer gear has been broken, so it just is listed on the title as exempt. Fuel lines, so the 944s, this has the late, so this is what they call the late model. It's a 1986. It has the fuel lines that run over the top of the exhaust. Again, it's a known issue. There's a ton of people out there that make retrofit kits. I ordered a set from Renline, and it's a pretty easy swap once you get the parts. But that's just, again, there's videos all over YouTube on these things burning, which is not a great thing. It was a known fault for the cars. Okay, now to the fun stuff. So for upgrades, new seats or seat covers, a new shifter, or we'll see if we can fix the shifter that's in there currently. It's pretty duct taped together. The other idea I had was a 951 conversion. I think would be really cool. So 951 was the next body style that came after. It had the front face to it, and it was the turbo models, but there's tons of parts online. So I think it'd actually be really cool to do a front swap and maybe do the rear spoiler as well. Considering a wrap and maybe seeing how DIY wrap goes on the car as opposed to a respray, because that'll be quite expensive. And then the other idea I had was, if we don't get new tires, I was going to get the 5-spoke Porsche Cup wheels with new tires on that. And then the last one is going to be the biggest one. This is repairing that back glass, and that thing has to all come apart, and it has to be all sealed back together. So that's a big job. I would leave that one till last at this point.
So what's next?
So what's next? Polish first. Let's see how the polish goes. I think that'll actually make a big difference with the car. Right now it looks rough. So maybe we'll polish it and see how it goes. I washed it already and it washed up okay, but I'd like to get it look a little bit better, and then for sure interior cleaning as well, because the interior still has got some funky smells from leaks and things like that. And then after that, the critical stuff. So we'll just kind of go one for one down the list on the critical. I'll probably actually start with the fuel lines. I added those just down here as the last one, but I'll start with that because that's probably the most critical, and then go to the battery draw, right? And then we'll start debugging that.
Okay.
So should be a fun project. I'll call it my Porsche 944 budget build.